Welcome back to Statesman.com and another edition of the High School Blitz. I'm Danny Davis. This is Rick Cantu. Rick, let's go over week 3. It's in the book, so let's talk about something we learned and let's give out a game ball. First off, what did you learn this past weekend?
Something I learned that I already knew, though, is that Cedar Ridge has an excellent football team. I've been trumpeting them ever since the start.
You're driving the bandwagon, I think.
I'm driving the bandwagon, and we're going about 90. But the problem with that team is they're so one-dimensional right now. They're almost all defense. Even though they have 8 starters back on the offense, they're only averaging 26 points a game. And after a few games that you saw last week, 26 points is not going to cut it, especially in the playoffs. But they only give up 12. So what I learned is that they're going to have to really improve that offense if they want to be a dynamic team in the postseason.
What I learned, speaking of one of those blowouts I watched last week, if you're a casual football fan, you kind of like to jump around, see every team in the area, avoid Westlake, avoid Lake Travis until October 23rd. I got to see the 73-10 win that Westlake put on Anderson last week, and it was ugly. It was kind of boring, not a lot of fun to watch. So I think both teams are probably going to be undefeated until they meet on October 23rd. Westlake does have a possible road bump with Bowie on October 2nd, but I'd avoid watching those two teams because they're both going to be pulling starters. It's going to be a lot of high-scoring games, and that's not a lot of fun to watch. Game ball, who's your game ball going to go to?
My game ball goes to Amado Aguilera. He's the quarterback for Reagan High School, somebody that we haven't talked about much in the past because they have another superstar, Moba Carr, who's the great running back who is going to probably set a record for most yards in a career eventually. But with 245 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns, that shows me that the opposing defense was looking at Carr and not Amado. So you take advantage of what the defense gives you. A big game. That was a big win for Reagan.
Yeah, got them in the win column with district play starting this week. I think they have Lanier this week. My game ball is going to go to Cole Baker over at St. Andrews. He's a running back and linebacker. St. Andrews went up the road, a short mile-long trip to Regents, came back with a 41-14 victory. In that win, he rushed for 254 yards, scored 3 times, and because it's a small school, he had to play defense too, led his team with 11 tackles. So Regents had won 4 straight in this series by about an average of 30 points. So St. Andrews came, flipped the script a little bit, and got a very big win for Ty Detmer in that Crusader program. So good for him, good for Amado, and we'll be back next week to give more game balls, and we'll be back later this week to preview week 4.